News with Gina.
The news with Gina Grad.
Well, let's start with a little Kanye because we're not done with him, especially in the presidential realm. Election day, very close by. Kanye West has finally released his much anticipated presidential campaign ad. It's about 90 seconds long, and religion is really the only issue he brings up. The ad just kind of shows Kanye staring off into middle distance. You could tell he's reading off of cue cards or something.
It's equal parts stock footage, cue cards, and green screen.
Yeah, we see a generic image of flags in outer space and oceans and families praying. There's a few photos of Kanye, and it ends saying, "Write in Kanye West." Here's the ad. Here's as much of it as you'd like to see. It's about less than 90 seconds.
America. What is America's destiny? What is best for our nation, our people? What is just? True justice. We have to think about all these things together as a people. To contemplate our future, to live up to our dream, we must have vision. We as a people will revive our nation's commitment to faith, to what our Constitution calls the free exercise of religion, including, of course, prayer. Through prayer, faith can be restored. We as a people are called to a greater purpose than ourselves. We are not only a beacon to the world, but we should be servants to each other, to encourage each other, to help each other, to lift up each other,
all right, we got
our fellow Americans.
Oh, are you sure? You sure you got it?
Given our current choices, Kanye would be kind of I could see writing him in.
Well, don't get too excited. Don't get too excited because he's only on the ballot in 12 states. So even if he won all those, he'd only have 84 electoral votes. He needs about 270 to win, and he isn't polling higher than 2%. But Brian, Brian and Ravi might be more familiar with this, but doesn't it look like his ad was done by Goalcast? Am I wrong?
What is Goalcast?
Oh, okay.
It's
that. It's, you'll see, somebody give a commencement speech or something. And then there's lots of cuts of generic families doing things and people swimming and music.
They do these
point,
PSAs.
Yeah, to that point, Adam, number one, you should be thrilled. Candidate platitude is finally coming to life.
That's right.
Oh.
Number two, I had the opportunity for the first time in my life, I don't know, 2, 3, 40 years ago, whatever it was, to see a bunch of Kanye West music videos. I don't make a habit of watching a lot of music videos these days, but I saw 10 or 12 in a row. Mm-hmm. And I was shocked at how cheap they were. There was a lot of green screen, a lot of just him in front of images that just kept changing. And this is that. This is just the extension of his music. I mean, this is more solemn, I guess. But I was shocked at how cheap they were for a guy who's super rich.
Gary's going to come over and beat your
ass.
I'm
sure he would agree with me. I'm not talking about the songs. I'm talking about the cheap videos.
Well, I think this would be a good example of getting some sort of B-roll going for us right now, because I want to see what this green screen thing is, or just more of Adam's childhood home.
Put that in the background.
I think I would probably vote for Kanye over Trump if I had to. I mean, feels like he could have a moment. Feels like, if he gets his mental health in order, I think
our first president to be 51.
Probably be less.
Is he still? Is he still with the Kardashian? I mean, are they going to break up? Don't they have to break up? Here's a question.
What lazy goss that says it's so obvious you don't give a shit.
No,
while also expressing interest.
No, what I'm saying is Bill and Hillary Clinton probably haven't slept in the same bedroom in 25 years, right?
Sure.
Or I'm trying to think when he's president. The point is this. They have so many different houses spread out all over the land with so much. Do you think they go to bed every night and sleep in the same bed, or do you think he's in Montana and she's in Maui and they're just going, fuck it, it's a business. We'll just kind of keep this going.
Are you asking me?
I'm asking the heavens.
I have no idea what's going on over there. I don't even know what's real. The whole thing looks like a clown show.
Right. I don't know what's real
Most
either.
of the stuff that's in the news looks like a clown show to me, but that I can't relate to any of that. I can't relate to the public image of the Kardashians. I can't relate to any of the stuff Kanye's doing right now. It's all just very much the time we live in, which is noise.
All right, Gina. Well, find us a nice Gal Gadot story.
I do.
So we can
I have
talk
one
about
right
Wonder
here.
Woman.
Well, I'd love to say it's a nice story, but I think it'll make your blood boil just a little. So Gal Gadot has been cast as Cleopatra in an upcoming movie, but some critics think that it should have gone to another actress, maybe not such an Israeli actress. The star, who is Israeli, made the announcement Sunday, saying she'll be reuniting with her Wonder Woman director, Patty Jenkins, to tell the Egyptian, well, they say the Egyptian queen story, for the first time through a woman's eyes. A lot of people had thoughts. One that I pulled out was Samira Khan, a journalist, tweeted, "Which Hollywood dummy thought it would be a good idea to cast an Israeli actress as Cleopatra, a very bland-looking one at that, instead of a stunning Arab actress like Nadine Najem? And shame on you, Gal Gadot. Your country steals Arab land and you're stealing their movies." Shake my head. It wasn't pointed out to a lot of these people that Cleopatra was Greek. She ruled in
but still
Egypt, and was the only ruler I could find on record that bothered to learn Egyptian or any other language. She spoke many languages when everyone else just kind of came and conquered and ruled and had an interpreter. But that, of course, in these divisive days, this is now a problem.
I was talking to my friend Kevin Hench, who I enjoy talking to while we eat steaks, but this was over the phone.
Yeah, in the good old days.
He's got a couple of shows and, of course, has to go through the corporate seminar thing with the diversity speeches and all the Me Too stuff. He was informed at his latest one the other day, you can no longer say dreadlocks. Dreadlocks is considered offensive.
Well,
Really?
Why is that?
Do tell.
I guess because it has dread in it, and I don't know what the origin story dreadlocks are, but I guess it's like locks of dread, and somehow that's a negative connotation on a Rastafarian or something, and no more dreadlocks.
Well, that's a bummer because I literally said dreadlocks today because it's the only part of my role in Wonder Woman that I can talk about is that I have dreadlocks in it or whatever. What did they pitch an alt? What am I supposed to say?
That's the whole thing.
Apparently, you're supposed to say locks or twisted hair.
Nobody knows. If I say I have twisted hair, does anyone know what I'm talking about?
they started in ancient Greece.
Really?
It all goes
Yeah,
back
I'm looking
to
on
the
Wikipedia
Greeks.
right now.
Twisted hair did?
Well, we know what we know is dreadlocks today. Yes.
How the fuck?
don't
How's it gonna work? Like when you're talking to the stylist and they go, "How you wearing your hair? Locks,
Twisted.
And bagel.
Goldie,
Dreadlocks?
yeah."
Well, and this is the name dreadlocks come in part from the idea of fear or dread of God. So it's like a reverence to God. So I don't know who decided it was a bad word.
That's
Oh man, that is a
that's-
deep cut when you start going into the twisted hair words. That's exhausting.
I know. Things have titles. Things have names. It's fine. It's fine. It doesn't have to be offensive. I don't know how many guys who work on Last Man Standing have dreadlocks, but I'm guessing not a lot of the guys in the writer's room.
Yeah, no. Whose feelings are hurt? The people with the hair?
The people with the hair, you would have to explain to them that they were insulted because they tell everyone they have dreadlocks.
Maybe they're the only ones who's allowed to say dreadlocks. Like maybe it's their word.
Oh, it's their
interesting.
N-word. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
I don't know.
What up, a dreadlock?
So not only your character wore dreadlocks in Wonder Woman.
Hey, you said it, Adam. I'm not,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I just had hair, and I don't even want to tell you specifically what kind because I think that would be offensive.
So, well, then let's talk about it. This is a weird thing. So dreadlocks came from Greece, did you say?
Yeah. Can we get more information here? This is important.
This is a bizarre circle we're finding here with Cleopatra and dreadlocks and.
Yeah.
All right. So talk about your character then. What can you tell?
That's literally all I can tell you is that I'm in the movie and I worked with all these cool people and, I'm not even sure I'm allowed to talk about the dreadlocks. I mean, I guess I'm sure now that I shouldn't. But, they were pretty aggressive in telling me I'm not allowed to talk about the role. I don't know. It was a cool movie and it was cool to be around those people.
It's coming out Christmas. Did we try to figure that out?
It's supposed to come out in December, but
was it supposed to come out during the summer?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
June 5th. Well, it was pushed back from 2019 to June 5th, I believe it was. And then obviously because of COVID.
Yeah, I know it's been pushed a couple times.
Is your character funny?
You know, I would say that he's probably supposed to be funny, and I'm not sure that he is. So we'll see.
See how the editing went?
I don't really know. Yeah, I mean, I'm in it. I think a decent amount, and I think I play a somewhat pivotal, moment in the story. But again, they were really adamant on me not talking about it, which I've never had before. Which I guess is good news when you can't even talk about it.
Yeah. That's good. Or means you're in a fucking lot of trouble. Like if Mark Garagos goes, you cannot talk about this, blah, blah, blah. Then it means you're fucked because the government's looking into you or whatever it is. So it's like, it's good news, bad news. It means you've either arrived or you're being indicted for embezzlement.
Yeah, we'll know I've made it if this dreadlocks thing catches fire for me. I'm fingers crossed.
Look around see if there's
Patel
anything
canceled for first hair related offense.
If there's anything on the internet. These things are getting so goddamn inane now that when Kevin was telling me you can't say dreadlocks, I just stood there. I just kept going, why? I don't. What does that mean? I didn't know what it means.
And to that point, like yesterday, literally, and I could pull it up, but it'll just anger everybody. You get articles suggested to you on Facebook and stuff. And one that was suggested to me was like BuzzFeed's 20 actors that should have thought twice before accepting these roles. And I was like, I'm intrigued because clickbait is great. Yeah. And it was
Ravi Patel, number one.
Rastafari and Ravi.
Yeah. It was Oscar winners. It was Eddie Redmayne, cisgendered male, dares to play the main role in The Danish Girl, and it's like, I don't think you know what acting is. Like I think he won an award for that.
Yeah, we got to get over ourselves.
No, it's tricky. Also, like 80% of my career is just very hack. Like stereotypical stuff. I mean, you get what you do what you can just to get a career going, right?
Hell yeah. I'd be doing gay porn right now if I had it my way. All right, let me hit Red
Hold
Cap.
up, what? I'm sorry, what?
I've played a very diverse, many diverse roles in my storied career. I think that's what I said. We can check the tape
absolutely.
After the show.
Congratulations, big fan.
All right, what else, Gina?
So as Judge Amy Coney Barrett's confirmation hearings divide many people, one thing I know that you, Adam, will relate to about her style is her note-taking. And I know you've been to D.C., you've taken notes, you looked to the left of you and saw Ben Shapiro with, an accordion folder full of notes. Well, Judge Amy Coney Barrett tends to do things more like you do. So Tuesday, observers noted she responded to hours of questioning in judicial matters with no notes. Fox News reported that President Trump's conservative nominee relied on her memory alone for this lengthy questioning process during the second day of her confirmation hearing. After hours of answering questions on her legal philosophy and recalling her own judgments and those of other courts, Senator John Cornyn, he's a Republican from Texas, asked Barrett how she prepared. And check out this clip.
Oh, hold on a second. Yeah. Dreadlocks today, cornrows tomorrow.
I think
corn does get planted in rows. That is a fact.
But that is a good. That's why you do what you do.
You're identifying a black person's hairdo.
What about I have a 3-year-old daughter. What about ponytails? Are they coming for ponytails?
Oh, I hope not.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm. All right, sorry. We'll play the clip.
Yeah.
What about just haircuts in general? Okay,
we'll see.
Most of us have multiple notebooks and notes and books and things like that in front of us. Can you hold up what you've been referring to in answering our questions? Is there anything on it?
That letterhead that says United States Senate.
That's impressive.
Well, she's got a good brain.
Yeah, you guys take notes the same way.
I had that note. I think that's my. I did I go to the Senate or was I in Congress? Where was I?
Congress.
I went to Congress. But one of the greatest things is they have a notepad, and the notepad's like the official notepad of Congress. And the first thing I said was, "Can I take this? Like this would be the most valuable thing my family owned when I was growing up. Would have been this notepad from Congress."
You went to Congress as a kid?
No, we didn't do a lot of traveling when I was young. You might know by the refrigerator in the middle of the fucking house. We didn't have a whole
Yeah,
lot.
you couldn't even get out of the hallway.
We were. I couldn't make it to LAX. I was trapped in my room. I went there about 3 years ago to talk about, I don't know, free speech or something, and that's my vague recollection of it. The origin of dreadlocks, there's a lot of speculation. No, I guess what I'm asking you, Chris, is it a thing now that you can't say dreadlocks? Is it?
It's not as common as any of the other stuff, but it is becoming a thing. Like I'm seeing a few articles where they're saying you got to call them the locks. LOCS.
So we're early on this movement. That's good.
Yeah,
we
early
could be
money.
the front runners on this.
Yeah,
I mean that would be a good one to jump on board for you. I think that would really throw the crowd off on you. If you go pro, like don't say dreadlocks, I think people would just be like, this guy's got his own wokeness going on.
Have their eyes opened, yeah.
Or maybe we shoot for the stars. We go for the page boy haircut. I'm into that. It's cisgender.
Now you're
it's
thinking.
gender specific.
The
Dutch boy, anything with boy in it. Page boy, Dutch boy. Sorry, it's got the word boy in it. I have a daughter. She may want to get a page boy haircut one day.
It's got a shot. You're thinking in the right direction,
right? Cornrows, page boys.
We might just stick with a pixie.
Problematic.
Oh.
And then what I do, see, here's how I work this game. You say pixie, I tell you that's problematic. You say why? I go, if you don't know, I shouldn't have to tell you. And I shake my head and I walk away.
Check your,
What do you mean you don't know? You're
check your
canceled.
privilege.
Yeah.
Check your privilege.
Yeah. Check your privilege.
That's right.
That does happen though. People do get canceled for often asking questions. At least in journalism, it's happening.
What's wrong with this kind of thing?
Yeah. That happens. It's ridiculous.
It's scary.
All right, what else you got, Gina Graham?
Well, here's a service I've never heard of, and I doubt you guys have, and it's brilliant. And a very well-known actor has used it and swears by it. Jon Cryer lost his wedding ring in Vancouver. We were just talking about Vancouver, and found a website called Ring Finders that hooks you up with local metal detector specialists. So Cryer lost his wedding ring while he was walking along the seawall in Vancouver. He looked everywhere. He tweeted all about it. He heard this ping, and it was like his ring flying off, and it was gone. All he found was a pair of glasses. So he decided to post the glasses on Lost and Found on Craigslist, and he noticed a link for the Ring Finders. It's a directory of these independent metal detector specialists from all over the world who you can hire to find lost jewelry, keys, phones, whatever has metal in it. So John got a call from a local guy. He came out and he found the ring, and he has this long tweet thread about it. And it's funny because it's almost a misdirect. He never asked for his name or anything. And he goes, this guy looked at me and said, Mr. Cryer, can I ask you a question? And you think he's going to say, like, were you on 2.5 Men or were you Ducky? He pulls something up. He goes, is this your ring? And he found it in the middle of Vancouver. So if you lose a ring, by all means, contact the Ring Finders.
Wow. And good for Ring Finders for, finally unionizing these old men walking around.
On the beach.
Yeah. And monetizing. I mean, you want to talk about, the other frontline workers. Those are the unsung heroes of those dudes just walking around. And now they finally have a purpose and they're together as a group. That's just a feel good story right there.
Jon Cryer was my neighbor in my very first house.
What'd you see? What'd you see?
Oh,
He's
man.
such a nice guy.
He's a sweetheart of a guy. I think he was kind of newly married, probably a different ring than this gal.
One from the news chick.
Is he with her?
Yes.
I don't know. Oh, so his first
lovely.
wife was a blonde. He must have married in the mid-'90s or
Sarah
something.
Trigger you're talking about, and Lisa Joyner, who he's married to now.
Sarah Trigger was his first. Yeah, he had a blonde wife. He was real sweet. I think they got divorced. Actually, my two neighbors were Kathy Bates and Jon Cryer.
Ooh la la.
Yeah, or maybe Jon Cryer bought Kathy Bates' house. Yeah, I think Kathy Bates lived across the street from me. And
Doesn't
maybe
sound like a North Hollywood story, I'll tell you what.
No, this is a Hollywood Hills house. And Patrick Dempsey lived right underneath me. And the thing that was funny is you think about it, this is 1990, let's say 7 or 8, right? Mm-hmm. Patrick Dempsey his career was sort of over in 1998, and John Cryer's career was kind of sliding down the backside a little bit too. I mean, it was like Ducky Boy, and Patrick was a guy, had some movies and stuff. But Loverboy and Ducky Boy, both haircuts that you couldn't do anymore. Right. But they were both like hit a stall in their careers. It's pre whatever, McDreamy and 2.5 Men, and they're both just kind of like, well, we were bigger stars 5 years ago, and now we're kind of coasting a little bit. And then they both came back and made oodles of dough on TV shows.
Yeah. And by the way, what are we looking at?
Oh, you're looking. That is the house that's across the street from my house, but that's not the house he lived in. Oh, maybe it is the house he lived in.
That's the one that he got from Kathy Bates.
Oh, it is. Okay. Yeah. It's funny. I would always see it from the street, and it didn't look like so much from the street. My house was the one right behind it. It's got the plate glass window and the refrigerator right in the middle of the living room.
Do we have that shot?
In the hallway.
Do we have that?
Since you mentioned, since we're talking about John Cryer and 2.5 Men, just coming over the wire now, Conchata Ferrell just died. She played Berta on 2.5 Men. Very recognizable actress. You've seen her in a million things.
Oh, yeah. Her. Yes. She's always playing.
Died today.
Oh, she's always playing like the sassy maid and everything, right?
Yeah, and a million movies from, the early 80s on. She had cardiac arrest, and they kept her on, I think, dialysis and a respirator. It's not specific of, COVID or anything, but that literally just happened.
How old was she, I wonder?
77.
All right. Well, young and old at the same time.
That's a bummer.
What
can I ask?
Yeah.
I have a question about the housing situation. What was the rest of your family's experience as you went from rags to riches? Like, are your parents still around?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Your parents are still around?
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you been passing it out? How have you been? Has that been a source of conflict or joy, or what's been the relationship between your rise in wealth to the rest of your family's?
Mostly
situation?
casket based, right?
Yeah, I'd say the jury's still out, even though it's been 25 years. Mixed. My parents don't really know what I do exactly. They know I make money doing something. They don't have a concept of what I do or all that I do, or even the warehouses or the cars or all that. They don't know about all that stuff. Are you close? Yeah, we're super tight. I love them dearly. It's just my dad's allergic to sports cars, and I can't bring him around. No, I don't like my parents that much.
Right. And do they like you?
They're not fans.
I don't know. If they do, it hasn't manifested itself in any actions.
Mm-hmm. But what's your sibling situation?
They tolerate me.
They do. Okay. Sibling situation?
I have one sister.
Okay. You're close to her?
She's a year older. We're getting closer as the years wear on. My house was very catch as catch can. She ran away when she was young, so I didn't really know her as well as I would have. And it was a little bit every man for themselves in my house, so we didn't really bond that much. We were both gone like the whole time.
Is that like a source? Tell me if this is too personal.
Go ahead. Ask any question.
Is any of that like a source of pain for you think, at this point? I mean, you're older now, so I have a feeling it's probably not. But is that something that you still are hoping to improve, whether it's your relationship with your sister or with your parents or all of you as a unit?
I don't think my parents have been divorced for a long time. So I don't think the all of us as a unit thing is on the table.
Right.
My parents are pretty set in their ways, in the sense that they're just who they are. That's who they've been. I don't know. There's going to a lot of bonding or shaping that could take place, because it was never really there in the first place. Like, there's nothing. We're not recapturing something or building on something that we had a base. I think a lot of people might have a situation where it's like, I used to be really tight with my dad, but then my dad married his secretary and he moved to Florida and I didn't see him for 3 years. And then he wanted to get back into my life, but I wouldn't talk to him. And now he's sick and I want to rekindle. I never had a relationship with my parents. So it's like, there's no like rekindling anything, if that makes sense.
We got a podcast out of it.
That's right. My dad did a podcast.
No, I'm talking about this podcast.
This
driving force behind this podcast.
That's right.
Wait,
my
how
anger
so?
at my parents. I talk a lot of shit about my parents.
Oh, so I am right about. I mean, there is something there. There is a lot of.
I think Ravi should know that when you wrote your first book, the only question that the publisher had was, "Are your parents litigious people?"
Okay, I'll take a look at this. Okay, so we are touching on something that is actually a great source of pain, whether or not you say it or not. It's clearly a driving force in your life. Do you have fears about manifesting similar dynamics with your kids?
I do
fears.
sometimes, and I think I tend to kind of overcompensate by not being like my parents as hard as I can.
In what sense?
With my kids? Well, just one example, my parents were pretty dour, quiet, kind of depressed people who didn't talk much and didn't celebrate and didn't go out, no joie de vivre, you know. And I'll come home and I'll see my son sitting on the sofa and I'll go like, "It's an awesome day. Isn't it awesome? Don't you love your dog? It's the best dog in the world. Look at that dog. You love your dog. You love this. This is awesome." And then I go into the room and slam some heroin and cry myself to sleep. But I over...
You're trying to hype the life at home whenever you can.
I realize what it's like to grow up around people that are depressed. And I realize, you know, we all have our good days and our bad days as adults, but I don't want my kids to see my bad days. You know, I want them to feel like every day's a good day because they're here. And I say stuff to them like all the time. It's like, look, I have arguments with my wife, but I say to them, "You got the best mom in the world, right?" And they go, "Yeah." And I go, "Would you rather have another mom?" And they go, "No." And I go, "Good for you. That's that's good thinking." Now,
I think those are all good qualities because that's just positive. I mean, people want to be around people who. I mean, I actually think that's an important skill set to teach, which is basically optimism and gratefulness. Those are all good things. I would say that it feels like also you want to teach people that you're like human, like especially your kids. Like are you? Do you ever ask them for help in any way? Like, do you ever tell them when you're hurting on something or upset about something and ask for their advice?
I had a interesting, this is, you know, crazy timing, but I walked in my daughter's room before I left for work today and I had a very like sort of moving conversation with her about being her dad and always being there for her and looking out for her. And, you know, times can be tough, but I'm always going to be there. I'm always going to be your dad. I'm always going to be thinking of you. And I literally had that, and I started to well up with tears. I had that conversation this morning before I left the house.
Do you mind me asking what the impetus was for that conversation? You don't have to be specific, but was it she was going through something and you were trying to show support?
Hey, everybody. Her name's the Janet. I've been going through some stuff. She's been going through some stuff. There's just been some, you know, some of it is blame it on COVID and, you know, just some of that.
Sure.
But there's just been a little stress and
had a rough patch
and stuff. And
Yeah.
I just realized that she may feel a little unbalanced by it or feel like I'm a little distant. I mean, also, too, it's like I'm traveling a lot. I'm out, you know, I'm on the road. I'm whatever. I'm not, you know, I just wanted to go, here I am. Here's who I am. Here's who I'm going to be.
Dude, that's awesome, man. Good for you. That must be an incredible feeling as a father.
It's you know, what I always say to everyone is it's free. You know what I mean? Just open the door, walk into the person's room, sit down with them, tell them you love them, tell them you're here for them. Tell them
Is your persona conflict at home? Your public persona?
I don't know what anyone who lives with me thinks of me.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like, I'm curious if like the stuff like the tweets and just whenever you do anything that I'm sorry, I'm not familiar enough to know exactly everything that you do, but you're clearly, you know, you say exactly what you feel, and I'm wondering if that ever follows you home in a way that is conflicting, or are you guys pretty much, is that just a separate world for you guys?
Can I address this because it's if people find out work on the Adam Carolla show over the last however many years, and the first questions are like, "What's Adam like? What's Adam like in real life?" And my answer is always like, "He's the same guy. He's just like minus 20%. Like he knows he's on the air or on whatever TV. Like he plays it up, because it's entertainment. But he's effectively the same guy." So anyway, I just wanted to lay the groundwork.
It is a true thing, Ravi, that people I meet recently, a semi-dangerous trend, which is I talk to someone at some event for half an hour, and then when we're done, they go, "Oh, you're a really nice guy." And I go, "Yeah, I am a nice guy." They go, "Oh, okay. Well, I guess you can't trust the internet, And I'm like, so I have spoken to
comes across
a few people.
I think that comes across.
Does it?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know you that well. I'm not a regular listener to your show. By the way, I hope that's not insulting. I think you're the fucking, I have so much admiration for all of you. But I've spoken to you twice now. I've listened to you enough. And I think I get the sense that you're actually like the sweetest guy there is. Like, I just think you also are willing. No, you seem like a guy who's super sweet. And then you also have, you go on these hot takes, which is what you do for a living. And it's probably authentic to what you actually feel. That's literally your job is to say whatever the thing is that you're thinking, even if you're not necessarily, even if you might change your mind about it later. But you don't come off as someone who's a dick in person. You strike me as someone who would be really fun to watch a sports game with.
I am. And, I think some of it may stem from some little bit of a daredevil gene that I used to have when I was a kid, where it's like if you were scared to jump that bike down those stairs, if you were scared of it, then that means you have to do it.
Yeah, I have some of that too.
And I feel as a comedian, if you're thinking about, I don't want to say that, I wonder what people think, now you have to say it. Like as a comedian, you should have a little daredevil gene. You are going to get skinned up. You are going to crash that bike. It's not a popularity contest. You have thoughts, you can share them with people.
Now more than ever, because it's a threat of, becoming extinct. I mean, it's the premise of your book, right? I mean, that is what we're all hanging on to, is the marketplace of ideas and the opportunity for a truthful conversation without fear of being judged or canceled.
Well, if you're a decent person, like I've always basically worked under this premise, and it probably hasn't served me very well, honestly. But my premise has always been, if you are a good neighbor and a good citizen and a good father and a good partner, and you provide and you're fair. You're fair with people. You take care of people. You pay people. You don't shirk your responsibilities. Then in a way you can say almost anything you want, because those are just words, but these are actions, and this is who you are, And I believe I'm very action oriented, and once in a blue moon, it's been a while, but my wife will go, everyone you work with thinks you're a douchebag. And I'll go, okay, but they never quit. They don't leave anywhere. They get paid. They show up the next day. Like I would argue that people kind of vote with their feet and they vote with their actions. And so for me, I feel like you have to be fair. As a matter of fact, I've been thinking about this a lot. I'm so tired of people being nice but unfair. I need more fair people and less nice people. Anyone can be nice. You know what I mean? Oh, your hair, you look good. Oh, have you lost weight? Whatever it is. And then you pay the check when you go out to lunch. And even though you paid last time you went out to lunch, I'd rather have fair. I'd rather have fair globally. I'd rather have a fair neighbor than a nice neighbor. Nice is just nice. I want fair. Fair converts to nice at a certain point.
Fairness is born out of the ability to communicate whenever you're in disagreement. And, that's why I think taking a familial approach to conflict or differences in opinions, like always remembering that the bond of the people in your life prioritizes any sort of disagreements, is the thing that people need to hold closest to them. And then you have the possibility to have, conversations where you're pointing out something that offended you or having difference of opinions, so that you can get to a point of fairness. Does that make sense, what I just said?
What are you talking about?
That's my son. I just think we talk a lot about nice. Like, that guy's a nice guy. She's a nice girl. The neighbors are nice. Fair, man. Everyone focus on fair. Be fair. You'll be almost de facto nice if, in fact, you're fair all the time with everybody.
Yeah.
But again, fair neighbors are much better than nice neighbors. I'll take both, but I'll take fair over nice.
Do you care about being liked?
No, only if I care about being respected, mainly, and liked is secondary, and not feared. Not feared respect.
Sure.
Because that guy knows what he's doing. He's good at X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, you want your daughter to think you're a great father.
Yeah, I like
kinds of things.
I like respect, and then if I like you, I would be very disappointed if you didn't like me. Like, I've been partners with Jimmy Kimmel and Dr. Drew for 20 years. I would be devastated if either one of those guys didn't want to spend time with me or be a partner or break things off or whatever it is. I'd be devastated by that. Now, Kevin Smith's a douchebag, and I don't care what fucking Kevin Smith thinks of me. I don't like Kevin Smith, but I would care greatly what Jimmy Kimmel thought of me or Dr. Drew thought of me.
Yeah, I think that's the juice in life, man. You should only care about the opinions of the people who you love and love you back.
Yeah, and if the rest
of the shit's noise.
A few other people like you on Twitter, so be it. Ravi Patel, 4-part docu-series, Ravi Patel's Pursuit of Happiness, and it's available now on HBO Max. Ravi, we'll have to have you back. We'll take a deeper dive into the psychology world, because I can see that's something you like, and I enjoy it as well.